Shri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande Balapeyat Anugrahat Karinamamata Graha Vyaktin Siddham Dashagaram. Translation. I offer my obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even an ignorant child can swim across the ocean of conclusive truth, which is full of the crocodiles of various tears. We certainly live in a time when speculation is very predominant. We're living in a time where everyone has his own idea about the truth. And thus, the amounts of crocodiles have by far increased from the times when Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Swami wrote this verse. Now the ocean is filled with crocodiles everywhere. There is so much misinformation. Newspapers, magazines, instant information on your cell phone, constant bombardment with advertisement and screens, huge video screens everywhere. If we go to New York, to Times Square, it is anything that is the closest to an LSD experience that I've ever seen. Because they have these big electronic screens on the sides of all the buildings, and it's moving in unlimited colors. Thus, we live in a world which is far removed from sanity. And therefore, it is so easy to become swept up, to become swallowed by all these various distractions. But it's said that by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even an ignorant child can swim across the ocean of conclusive truth. A child is weak, so here is a symbol of a weak person, someone who doesn't have any strength, really. An adult at least is stronger. Of course, an adult has no chance to swim across an ocean. What to speak a child? So we have no chance. And thus, the success in this process is entirely dependent on mercy. One might ask, could you, just in a few words, sum up the essence of initiation? And one could say many things. But if I would have to sum it up in a few words, I would say, always take shelter. Always take shelter. Shelter is ample. There are devotees. There is a temple. There is prasadam. There, and prasadam only. There is the holy name. There are Srila Prabhupada's books. The deities, so many things. We can take shelter. But somehow or other, we don't. Somehow or other, we become distracted. Distractions are many. And it is amazing how many things can preoccupy our minds. These are the crocodiles, actually, that preoccupy our minds and consciousness. And somehow or other, Krishna is there, but in the background. And we, yes, we want, but so little time. Little time for spiritual matters. Those are the ones that are squeezed. Other ones, oceans of time for material activity. And so little time for spiritual activity. This is the symptom of the circumstances that surround us today. So it is a practice at the time of a sacrifice, if you do an elaborate one, not a 15-minute one, then you start with Jambudvipe, right? You begin to explain that on the island of Jambudvip. In other words, you are beginning to speak from the circumstances where we are. Well, this is where we are in an ocean of crocodiles. And thus, one must make time for Krishna. That is the secret. To somehow or other make time for spiritual activities. To simply put other things aside and to minimize one's needs so that there is time. The next verse I will also read. Krishna kirtana gana narta nakala patu jani brajita sadbhaktavari hamsa chakramarupa shreni viharas padam karnanandi kaladvanir varhatu mejiva maru pragane Shri Chaitanya Dayanidhi Tavala Suda Swarjuni. Translation. O my merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges water of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. Yes, desert-like, dry, for long we have not satisfied our heart's desire. For long we have been hungry, for long we have been thirsty, for long we have been seeking and never satisfied. We have become restless, looking here and there, and it is hard to fix the mind. The mind is everywhere, looking for things out of habit, even when we have the right thing. Still the mind is wandering. Amazing enough. Because for so many lifetimes we have been looking here and there, and this wasn't satisfying, that wasn't satisfying, this wasn't fulfilling, that wasn't fulfilling. There must be more, and we looked for more. Then when we come to Krishna consciousness, we look for more. Thus, it is said that one of the 5 types of ignorance that is destroyed by the Sankirtan movement is the sense that there is more than Krishna consciousness. But actually this Krishna consciousness is the essence. It is said the nectarian Ganges water of the Lord's transcendental activities flow on the surface of our desert-like tongue. Beautifying these waters are the lotus flowers of singing, dancing, and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name, which are the pleasure abodes of unallied devotees. So in the river of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is endless. These pastimes are very great and deep. Who can understand? But within this river there are the lotus flowers of singing, dancing, and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name. And those are the pleasure abodes of the devotees. We cannot fully understand the depth of the Lord's pastimes, but these lotus flowers, they are sweet, they are extraordinarily beautiful, and lotus flowers are not affected by the water. They are not affected by the material world. Thus, somehow or other, singing, dancing, and loudly chanting Krishna's holy name, that is our main activity.